Hello, this is Mount Unlimited. As promised, I'm doing another comic book villains uh, list. Yes, I'm still doing those. Uh, Currently, we're on World's Finest Comics, or World's Best Comics. Um, if you don't remember, around New Year's Eve, I did two videos who's about a list of comic villains I made on PowerPoint. I'm still doing such. This is the third part of it. The World's Finest Comics part. The previous parts were Detective Comics and Batman Comics. After this will be Action Comics. Alright, let's get started. Rainmaker. Briefly saw a glimpse of him last video. Oh, now you actually know what he is. He was a Superman villain, actual name being Parker Allen, only appeared in World's Best Comics #1. He was located in Millerton. He had a paralyzing gas gun, and he tried to destroy a dam. The Mist, also only appearing in World's Best Comics #1, fought against Zatara, the dad of Zatanna, actual name being John West, created by Garner Fox and Joseph Sulman. He was a corrupt railway executive from Carson City. He also led a gang. The Witch. This is usually found in Flash Comics. I'm currently on Flash Comics on time of making this. She was one of the only two villains that fought against the King, or King Starfish. Her first appearance was Flash Comics #5, and last was Flash Comics #41. She was created by Garner Fox and Harry Lambert. She was a jewel thief and used her talents to disguise her deception to operate quite successfully as a high society jewel thief. The King's other villain was a surprisingly friendly-looking fellow called Murder Master. We'll get to him when we get to him. Witch, for only appearance, was on World's Best Comics #1, was a Batman villain for Batman and Robin. His actual name, yes, it's a guy who is known as Mr. White, played by Bill Finger or Bob Kane, most likely not Bob Kane, was the publisher of the famous writer Eric Dorn, who he tried to murder. His actual, hair was brown. Another Superman villain, this being the Unknown X, also known as Arthur Jameson, only appearing in World's Finest #2, created by Joe Siegel and Paul Cassidy, a respected member of Metropolis's high society. He was set up a criminal organization should be spelled with an S. He had a gang of hirelings distinguishable by their X-branded armbands. That's why it's called the Unknown X. The Scarecrow. The first appearance of the Scarecrow, to be exact. Yes, technically Scarecrow first appeared in World's Finest Comics, not Batman Comics. His first appearance being World's Finest Comics #3. His last appearance being Infinite Crisis #2. For against Batman and Robin, his minion was called Muggsy. His actual name was Jonathan Crane, and was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. Most likely not Bob Kane. Also, his original suit kind of looks cool, not gonna lie. Crime Clown. The only appearance was in World's Finest Comics #5. Well, it's TNT and Dynamite. If you don't know who TNT and Dynamite is, don't worry. Just like Robot Man and Star Spangled Kid, they all technically appeared in Star Spangled Comics. Technically, it's found out that Robot Man had the most villains in that comic book. But to be honest, they weren't really anything special. TNT and Dynamite had rings that had the power of explosions in them. Robot Man was a professor that was making a robot, then died, and his body was replaced by it. And I have no idea what Star Spangled Kid was, or why he had a giant manservant called Stripesy, who later became the hero Stripe, or Strip. Anyway, this villain only appeared in Crime Clown, only appeared in World's Finest Comics #5, created by Mort Weisinger. He devised some clever methods for administering sleeping gas. He ended a few robberies, and he was a gang leader. Metallo, the first Metallo. There's a difference because of the amount of L's that are in the names. This Metallo, first appearing in World's Finest Comics #6, and last appearing in Superman Family #217, was a Superman villain. This one, it was a scientist who created power signal metal and used it to fight Superman and commit robberies. The scientist in question's name was George Grant, created by Jerry Siegel and John Cicala. He fought Superman. Nightshade. This is a very important villain if you are a reader of Sandman, not the deity Sandman, the superhero Sandman with the gas mask and that gas gun. First appearing in World Finest Comics #6, created by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon. You see Sandman more in Adventure Comics until it's more moved to Superboy and the Super Team. What's they call it? United League. I completely forgot what its name was. Anyway, it was pre-Zero Hour, whatever that means. His other alias was Remulus. He was a member of the Monster Society of Evil, and his ability was to manipulate plants. Eel-1. This is the only Star-Spangled Kid villain and Stripesy villain you'll see for a while, not until Star-Spangled Comics. Eel-1, or just Eel, actual name being Eel Lyman, only appeared in World's Finest Comics #6, created by Jerry Siegel and Hal Sherman. The Magnet, another Zatara villain, created by only appearing in World's Finest Comics #7, actual name being Professor Herman Bly, created by Joseph Sulman, was a professor of physics. His hair was black, had magnetism powers. Mr. Ghoul. This is the other Star-Spangled Kid villain. First appearing in Star-Spangled Comics #4, last appearing in World Finest Comics #7, World Star-Spangled Kid and Stripesy, created by Jerry Siegel and Hal Sherman. His hair was black and he transformed people into living corpses. Technically, the Star-Spangled Kid's actual main foe was Dr. Weir, not Mr. Ghoul, although they are very close seconds. Anyway, a Green Arrow villain, which you'll probably never suspect. Yes, Green Arrow has actually had a very interesting villains, which no one uses anymore. This one's the Blaze, only appearing in World's Finest Comics #7, and created by Bernard Klein for Green Arrow and Speedy. He had a motorbike, weapons were incendiary bombs, and he was American. So he was a biker who had a flamer biker, an arsonist biker sort of thing. That's all we actually know about him. Another Zatara villain, Rainmaker, not confused with the similar villain that we started with. I think it was also Rainmaker. Jesus Christ, my memory that bad. Let me check. Sorry for this. Yeah, Rainmaker. So, two villains named Rainmaker in the same comic book strip. You could say they're similar, but technically they are different. This one's a Zatara villain. You can see the difference because there's a dash in his name, only appearing in World's Finest #9. Actual name being Oswald Cloud, created by Joseph Solomon. He invented a machine that allowed him to control rain, and he was a scientist. The Joker, at least Earth 2 Joker. I'm not doing every version of Joker because that would be way too long. Okay. But this Earth 1 Joker first appeared in Batman #1. He fought against Batman and Robin. He was a professional criminal leader. He was created by Jerry Robinson, Bob Kane, and Bill Finger. His descendant is a guy called Red Hodge, Joker backwards, and he was originally Red Hood. Insect Master, a Superman villain who tried to blackmail Metropolis in his only appearance in Wolf Alice #10, created by Jerry Siegel, Ed Dobrotka. He controlled a swarm of insects, going the name, and he was an American. Mr. Gadget, a recurring Star Spangled Kid and Stripes villain, not a major one, but he was a recurring one. Tommy Tucker first appeared in World's Finest Comics #10 and lasted until Star Spangled Comics #51. Mr. Gadget was created by Hal Sherman and was an American. Dr. Sight, only appearing in World's Finest #10, he fought against Zatara, created by Joseph Solomon. He was created a thing making air lighter. He had a green jacket and he was an American. Skeptic was also known as Charles Frost, who fought Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Ira Yarborough. His only appearance was World's Finest #11. He was the brother of Milton Frost, who died, and he operated in Metropolis. Another Superman villain, the Lynx, or Lester Link, was only appeared in World's Finest #12, also created by Ira Yarborough, but also Don C. Cameron as well. His eyes were black, and he operated in Metropolis. Need to check something real quick. Yes, recorded. J. Wilbur Wolfenham, seeing more in the following comics for a bit. First appearing in Superman #26 and last appearing in Superman Family #216, created by also by Don C. Cameron and Ira Yarborough. His nephew being Wormwood Wolfenham. He was a con man who cheated good men out of their money, and he was a confident one at that. Toyman, at least the first one. His first appearance being Action Comics #64, created by Don C. Cameron and Ed Brodka. His actual name was Winslow Slot. Pretty sure most people know that. He pulled off a string of robberies through creative uses of armed toy inventions. He was a professional criminal and fought against Superman. The first Angler. The second was a Wonder Woman villain. You'll see him later. His only appearance was World's Finest #23. He fought against Green Arrow and Speedy. He operated on the U.S.-Mexican border. He was created by George Papp. George Papp is very influential in Green Arrow creations. He ran a sophisticated diamond smuggling ring across the border, and he posed as a fisherman on the Rio Grande, going the name Angler. Some people need to remake these villains. Speaking of recreate these villains, you know how Signal Man was supposedly helped trained by a villain called Bullseye? Well, this is the actual villain Bullseye, or Leapover Clown, who fought against Green Arrow and Speedy, first appearing in World's Finest #24, last appearing in Vintage Comics #137. This could be classed as the original Green Arrow's first ever nemesis. No one remembers him anymore. More sadly enough, he was a famous circus acrobat turned criminal. He was created by Steve Brody. The greater question is, why haven't anyone remade all these old ones? I mean, the upcoming ones as Vulture Man and others. Bullseye and Angler. Maybe not Angler, but definitely Bullseye. Gonna be the Green Arrow's own Joker. Telling you now. Alexis Lex Luthor. First appearance in Action Comics number 23. Last appearing in Crisis Infinite Earth number 9. Against Batman, Robin, Superman, and Superboy. He was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. He had his own planet for a bit time, Lexor. Or was it Luthor? He operated in Metropolis. I know the Image is technically the anything. This Image is technically technically F1 Lex Luthor. Technically F2 Lex Luthor had hair, but I may have at the time I made this slide. I accidentally used the F1 version of Lex Luthor instead of F2, so keeping the Image. Plus, also it's kind of funny. What seeds? There have never been anything like them before on Earth. Kind of funny. Anyway, Glass Man. Only appearing in World's Finest number 28, actual name being Judson. He was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, maybe not by Bob Kane, because Bob Kane didn't really do all his work. He was a villain who killed his victims using glass sculptures with poison edges. He operated in a place called Glasstown, which is not far away from Gotham, but it's not close. He was an American. He was also a car manufacturer. Now, the legendary Penny Plunderer, or Joseph Coyne, famed for being that villain that, other than Snowflame, that Hugbees talked about for being useless. Personally, I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, first appearing in World's Finest Comics number 30, last appearing in Two-Face Year 1 number 2, fought against Batman and Robin, was a petty thief, and specialized in penny-themed crimes. Mr. Who 2. Yes, there's two people called Mr. Who. This one is Owls Haynes. He only appeared in World's Finest number 31. He fought against Green Arrow and Speedy. He was created by George Papp. He operated in Star City. He was an American. Robin Hood, another Green Arrow villain. Some of these should actually get remade. His only appearance was World's Finest Comics, number 33. He fought against Green Arrow and Speedy. His actual name was Mr. Lenton. He was a cameraman, created by George Papp, who started a crime wave after pretending to be Robin Hood, who the actor also, who trying to play Robin Hood, had a amnesia attack and believed himself to actually be Robin Hood, so trying to get Green Arrow confused on which Robin Hood was actually the robber. The Penguin, or Mr. Butterface, or Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot, first appeared in Detective Comics number 58. He fought against Batman, Robin, created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. It may not have been Bob Kane. It had an arc called Miranda. Wind, another Green Arrow villain, whose whole thing was weather vanes. I don't know what his actual modus operandi as the thing is, but he wore a weather vane on his head and looked kind of cool. He also had white hair. Well, Mr. A. Wayne, his actual name being A. Wind, or Wind, which is kind of funny. A. Wind. His only appearance was Finest number 38, but still, we should remake some of these Green Arrow villains. Another Green Arrow villain that could be remade is Green Face, because got his complexion from a chemical explosion. Pardon me. Oh, pardon me. His whole thing is that his head and neck is green. He only appeared in World's Finest number 39. He fought against Green Arrow and Speedy. He was created by Otto Biner and George Papp. Robbed the Hall of Fame, and it was an American. I get why this one wasn't really remade. Kind of whole thing is that his head's green. That's it. But I still like to see these old uh, Green Arrow villains come back. Speaking of which, Monocle Mike. He worked for this guy worked for a guy called Black Baron, or the Black Baron. He only appeared in World's Finest number 40. He followed Green Arrow and Speedy. He was read by Otto Banner and George Papp. He was a thief. He wore a monocle because his name is Monocle Mike. The Snare, another Green Arrow villain and Speedy villain. Actual name being Jonathan Dwight, only appearing in World's Finest number 41. He was a collector. He was American and he was bald. The O should be an A. Blue Lancer, another Green Arrow villain. There's surprisingly lots of Green Arrow villains in this. Surprisingly not a lot of Green Arrow villains in More Fun comics, although there are some. Blue Lancer, only appearing in World's Finest number 43. He was created by Otto Banner and George Papp. His hair was black. He was a former Bengal Lancer and was a tyrant ruler of an island. See, another Green Arrow and Speedy villain, because Jesus Christ, Switchman. Literally, there's so many villains in this that are Green Arrow, you will be surprised. Created by Don C. Cameron and George Papp, only appearing in World's Finest number 45. His hair was brown, he controlled a metal puppet, and he was an American. Finally, a Superman villain, Mr. Seven, only appearing in World's Finest comics number 46. His actual name means Scraps Fabian, created by Edmund Housen and Wayne Boring. His whole thing is that he commits crimes with the links to the number 7. He operated in Metropolis. Soapy Sellers, only appearing in World's Finest number 50, for against Satara. He was created by Joseph Samantson and Ralph Mayo. With a Granglia, he had brown hair and he had a cigarette. Another Green Arrow villain who also fought against Daniel Broome and King Arthur and Speedy, but Green Arrow and Speedy came together. The Authority, the rulers of planet Tropicus, only appeared in World's Finest number 52. Created by George Papp, they operated in Tropal, the capital of Tropiticus, and they prepared to invade Earth. The Prankster, or Oswald Loomis, first appearing in Action Comics number 51, and last appearing in Superman number 88, was created by Jerry Siegel and John Cicala, going into Superman, and used various gimmicks related to weapons. Gimmick-related weapons. Sorry, I messed up my errors. Another Green Arrow villain and Speedy villain, Mr. Exit, or Mr. Fay, was created by George Papp and appearing in World's Finest Comics number 57. He owned a hobby shop and worked for Mayor Hap Hogan. Hap Hogan was not actually a mayor, he was just a crime boss. Now for a Batman and Robin villain, Kingpin. Actual name being Spotwood Hartley, only appearing in World's Finest Comics number 57. Probably before the actual Kingpin in Marvel, created by David Verne Reed and Dick Sprang. He ran a criminal racket in Gotham City. He never revealed his identity to his henchmen. He placed evidence that he would point towards Wayne as him, though, to get the police on the wrong foot. Another Green Arrow and Speedy villain, Black Magician, for against World's Finest Comics. Only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 62. His actual name was Professor White. Very funny joke. He had a pair of Green Arrow and Speedy puppets. He looked like a magician and had black hair. Black Rose, his only appearance being in World's Finest number 62. Actual name being Felix Stone, for against Batman and Robin, created by David Verne Reed and Dick Sprang. He was a scholarly criminal to be exact. He was obsessed with the Arthurian criminal, the Black Knight, also other names being Black Knight. After he hit his head on a falling branch, he believed himself to actually be the Black Knight. So yeah. The Flame. Early appearance was Awards Finest number 65. He brought in Superman, created by Edmund Hamilton and Wayne Boring. He was a thief and arsonist who terrorized the town of Smallville. Well, he was chronicled in the Adult Superman's autobiography and operated only in Smallville. So basically, this was supposedly in the timeline of Superman's first actual villain. The Mask, another Superman villain, only appearing in Awards Finest number 66. Created by Wayne Boring, his actual name being Harry King Sapphire. He ran 2 gangs at the same time, surprisingly. He operated in Metropolis. A lot of villains called Mask. Octopus 2. Now, technically there wasn't really much information on his fandom page, but I remember watching a video about him by Mr. Rogue. Mr. Rogue needs to make more villain videos. There are so many he hasn't even got to. So please make more videos, Mr. Rogue. Anyway, his only appearance was in Awards Finest number 67. He fought against Green Arrow and Speedy, actual name being Mr. Michaels, created by Ed Herron and Jack Kirby. He had a pet octopus, and his whole motif was he does stuff in 8s. Because he believed 8 was his lucky number. He escaped on the 8th of October. October is the 8th day of the 8th month. He escaped with 7 other people, making it an 8. And I think he said he escaped at 8 o'clock, too. So that's true. Anyway, Zero, or The Zero, only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 67, actual name being Willis Gibling, fought against Batman and Robin. He was created by Bill Finger Dick Sprang, with a notorious Gotham City criminal. Well, he learned of a young amateur millionaire detective and started using the young man to make some profit. Crime Smith, first appearing in World's Finest Comics number 68, and I think we saw him in Batman comics, although I don't really sure. No, created by Sheldon Moloff, his actual name being Rudolph Garrow, or another alias Rand Garrow. He was a criminal with a excellent mechanical engineering, and he was an American. Fang, that's being World's Finest Comics number 73. I do have his story. Actually, I have the exact story where he appeared in. It's where I think it was the story where Batman and was pretending to be a Swami and used Superman to make stuff become real. Anyway, his first appearance was World's Finest Comics number 73. His last was World's Finest Comics 170. One is Superman, Batman, and Robin. I remember the suit being green, not pinkish purple. He created by Edmund Hamilton and Kurt Swan. He acquired a weapon known as a Chinese lucky sword, or a fang. It's a wishing sword, technically. He created a crime speed by stealing from the Wayne Steel power plant. Anyway, Mole, first appearing World Finest Comics number 80, last appearing in Batman number 340. His actual name was T.B. Hara. He owned and was president of the Hara Construction Company. Before he had Superman, Batman, and Robin, he was created by Edmund Hamilton and Dick Sprang. Rotool, the distant descendant of Lex Luthor, only appearing in World's Finest Comics number 91. He fought against Batman and Robin and Superman. He created by Edmund Hamilton and Dick Sprang. He stole a hydrogen generator. He discovered that he could neutralize any ray. Ultraman, as I said before, the Green Arrow villain. somehow this stays in my head. He only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 93. He was American, he was a thief, and he had a body glider. Basically, he was the Kite Man of Green Arrow villains. If we're doing something like that, because he could fly around. He had to get Green Arrow to get his own flying thing too. Another similar villain was Red Dart, or Jotham Midas Mallory, fought against Green Arrow and Speedy. First appeared in World's Finest number 95, last appeared in Adventure Comics number 513. Created by Ed Herron and George Papp. He used darts to commit crimes. This whole thing was darts. That's why it's called the Red Dart. Moon Man. First appearing in World's Finest Comics number 98, last appearing in World's Finest Comics number 266. His actual name was Bryce Rogers. He fought against Batman, Superman, and Robin. He was created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. He was driven mad by radiation and by the powers of the moon. So he stole anything that was racist to moon. He also appeared in the Batman and Robin animated show with a similar thing, except the character is different and the suit's different, but basically the entire modus operandi is the same. Atom Master. The first appearance was in World's Finest Comics number 101 against Superman, Batman, and Robin, created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. He was a disgruntled scientist turned criminal. He's also known as Illusion Master. His hair was grey. Another Green Arrow villain, Green Arrow and Speedy villain, Camouflage King. Okay. We only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 102, created by Ed Herron and Lee Elias. His hair was black. He had a special camouflage ray. His camouflage spray. His spray will make him and his gang blend into backgrounds. So yeah. Still, why haven't people remade these characters? The Phantom Bandit, also a Green Arrow and Speedy villain, only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 103. Or Joey Sanders was created by Bob Haney and Lee Eli. He used a liquid to go into tangibility, and he was a thief. Kalex, first appearing in World's Finest Comics number 105, fought against Batman and Robin and Dick Sprang. No, Batman and Robin and Superman, created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. He was a green alien from a distant planet. He supposedly had 10 fingers, although if you look at that looks to be more 8 if you count all of them. And he had super strength. Had 4 in his hand, not 10. Mr. Miniature, only appearing in World's Finest number 105. He was a Green Arrow villain and Speedy villain, whose whole thing is that he stole Green Arrow's trick arrows, and it's kind of small. He created by Ed Herron and Lee Eli, who was American. He was bald. Duplicate Man, only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 106. He fought against Batman, Superman, and Robin, created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. He was a criminal who used a special machine to order to split his body into 2 separate beings at will. He stole various machines and inventions for his personal gain, and he used this power to start a crime spree. Another Green Arrow and Speedy villain, the Punatomic Man. Only appearing here, it was World's Finest Comics number 106. It was created by Rob Bernstein and Lee Elias. Carolyn and Blimp, he had a pneumatic gun. Pneumatic. Technically, the P is silent in pneumatic. Yes, pneumatic has a P in it. He wore a pneumatic suit, too. I kind of don't know what pneumatic means, so yeah, that fact's probably a bit deserving. Time Creature, only appearing in World's Finest Comics number 107, created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang, fought against Superman, Batman, and Robin. He was spawned when a strange fireball exploded on an alien planet. He had the ability of absorption and resistance. He also had deflection skills. Spectrum Man, another Green Arrow villain, who only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 110, who used Spectrum's related gimmicks to commit robberies. He transported on a transport with a plane, he operated in Star City, and he had a parachute. I didn't press it. Clock King, finally. He, a more remembered villain. First appearance in World's Finest Comics number 111, last appeared in Suicide Squad Volume 2, number 1. His actual name being William Tuckman, his whole motif was clocks. He was created by Ed Herron and Lee Elias. His sister was Beverly. Beverly technically died at the end of his story. One of the darkest is Green Arrow villains, on how really you would actually be more sympathetic towards them. How technically Green Arrow was being entirely dickish about it. That he didn't really know anything. I get that's probably a fact, and he only saw a criminal committing crimes. But he should have checked in more, really. So, yeah. Someone needs to refix that. Anyway, Anthcar, only appearing in World's Finest Comics number 114, more than Superman and Batman and Robin. He was created by Jerry Coleman and Dick Sprang. He was a beast from the planet Zoran. He roamed an uninhabited area of the planet, and he was purple. Acrobat, another Green Arrow villain, only appearing in World's Finest Comics number 119. He was created by Lee Elias, his actual name being Francis Doran. He was a skilled acrobat and had a magical bow. Another Green Arrow villain who also fought the Justice League, which I'm pretty sure no one nowadays actually remembers. Dr. Davis, a friend of Mr. Memory and had a minion called Fred Jenkins, first appeared in World's Finest Comics number 125, created by Ed Herron and Lee Elias. He was a criminal scientist who attempted to use the bizarre vehicles he had created, like the Dematerializer or Memorizer, so they would forget stuff, basically. Now, the third, technically, octopus. So, although this one didn't say it had a number on it. So, Octopus 3, basically. This one, for against Batman and Superman, no Robin. No, Robin didn't appear in this story. Created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. He only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 131. He was an American. He used bombs in Metropolis, and he was found by some ink. Yes, they followed ink to where he was hiding. It was kind of funny. Anyway, next up is Rangdur, or Future Man, created by Bill Finger and Dick Sprang, only appearing in the World's Finest Comics number 135. He fought against Superman and Batman, traveled in time to the past seeking to obtain some kryptonite. He prepared to set traps for them, Superman and Batman. Now to an alternate dimension with the Red Raven, only appearing in World's Finest Comics number 136, from Earth 136. Technically, in this Earth, Bruce Wayne is Superman. There's no Batman. So, our timeline Batman worked with that time's Superman and Robin, because Robin's still around. He was created by Bill Finger and Jim Mooney. He was a criminal leader who worked in Gotham City, and he was an American. Mr. Mxyzptlk, first appearance in Superman number 30. He was created by Jerry Siegel and Iris Yarbrough. He was from Zerf, his home planet, fought against Batman, Superman, Batmite, Batmite, Mr. Mxyzptlk, absolutely hated each other. And Robin, he was a court jester and he had blue eyes. Yeah, technically his job was a court jester. Clayface 2, first appearing in Detective Comics number 298. Last appeared in Crisis Incident Earth number 12. Name being Matthew Hagen. He was created by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldoff. He had a daughter and his hair was blonde before becoming mush. Now, for the most famous World's Finest Comics villain, Composite Superman, first appearing in Superman World's Finest Comics number 142, last appearing in World's Finest Comics number 168. Technically, this is the first one, though. Technically, two, although this one actively used it at Composite Superman as his main alias. It's actually named being Joseph Meach, created by 48 Batman, Superman, and Robin, created by Edmund Hamilton and Kurt Swain. He was a museum custodian. Flame Dragons. Their first appearance was World's Finest Comics number 142, where they fought against Superman, Batman, and Robin. They were created by Jerry Siegel and Wayne Boren. They were green and purple. They were vulnerable to kryptonite and from the star system of Roa. Technically, these are creatures from Krypton. So Krypton had dragons back in the day. Don't know if they still do now. Probably don't. Anyway, Bren Bear, first appearance in Action Comics number 136, last appearance in Krypton Chronicles number 1. He was created by Edmund Hamilton and Kurt Swain. He was the leader of a gang of kids on Kandor. He also led a gang composed of Kill Ibo and Vasquez. He had a Quellorian effigy controller. Brainiac, or Brainiac 1, first appearance, or Vilrox the First. He was first appearance, Action Comics number 242. He was created by Otto Biner and Al Pastino. He was a superintendent villain from Planet Colu. He was for Batman, Superman, and Robin. He reduced and absconded from with the great city of Kandor, Kryptonian city of Kandor. Basically, shrunk it down and stole it. That's what reduced and abscond mean. Anyway, Batman 148, or from Earth 148. He only appeared in issue 148. It was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. His actual name was Bruce Wayne. He was a notorious cat burglar in Gotham City. Technically, in this universe, technically, Bruce Wayne's dad is still alive and was a cat burglar, and this Bruce Wayne is now a cat burglar too. Also, in this world, Luthor and Clayface are the heroes. The second Clayface too. So they fought against Superman, Batman, Robin, Clayface 148, and Luthor 148. So yeah. Superman of Earth 148 was a Kal-El. Only appearing in World's Finest Comics 148. He created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. He fought against Batman, Superman, Robin, Clayface of 148, and Luthor 148. The notorious criminal, he became partners with Gotham City's greatest criminal, Batman. Robin of Earth 148 fought again. He appeared in the World's Finest Comics number 148. He was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Jerry Siegel. Fought against Batman, Robin, Clayface of Earth 148, and Luthor of Earth 138. His actual name was Richard Dick Grayson. He was the youngest partner of the notorious burglar, Batman, and he was from Earth 148. Brock and Stolben, their first appearance was Superman 171, last appearance was Action Comics number 582. I have one of their appearances, actually. They were Venturing Gamblers. Yes, they were created by Leo Dorfman and Al Pacino. Their eyes are supposedly purple. and before Superman, Batman, and Robin. The whole thing is that they bet on people to bet on Superman to win some event, and then they do. Very complicated stuff. Basically, they're just gamblers, extreme gamblers that will put people's lives at risk. Anyway, the Crimson Archer, only appearing in Adventure Comics number 259. Technically, its first appearance. This is just a recover of this, so technically it's his first appearance. But if you count it just doing the story, reprinting the story in a different book as a second appearance, then I guess it's a second appearance. Anyway, Herbert Van Reef for its Green Arrow Speedy. He created by Lee Elias. He was a racketeer and operated in Glenville. They still need to remake some of these characters. Going now, Mr. Mystical Piglet Jr. Yes, this alternate version of Mr. Mystical Piglet actually exists. Only appearing in World's Finest Comic number 157. I think some of the bit may have fell off. He was from Earth 154, created by Edward Hamilton and Kurt Way. He fought against Superman Jr. and Batman Jr. on the fifth dimension. And I think the sixth bit fell off. But he arrived on Earth and forced Batman Jr. to fight him, or give him his idol. Anyway, in this universe, in Earth 154, Batman and Superman are both just kids when they do their crime-fighting stuff. So, yeah. Also, I think they're the sons of the prodigious already. The actual Superman and Robin. So, yeah. Anyway, for Riddler, first appearing in Detective Comics number 140 for Batman, Robin, elongated man, and I guess Superman in this case. The actual name was Edward E. Nigma. Created by Dick Sprang and Bill Finger. He was a professional criminal which was obsessed with puzzles that would otherwise cheat to solve them. His eyes and hair were both black. Dr. Zodiac, who first appeared in World's Finest Comics number 160, last appeared in World's Finest Comics number 288. Created by Leo Dorfman and Kurt Swine. Theodore Cash Carrigan fought against Superman and Batman and was a con artist. Muto, first appearing in Action Comics number 138, last appearing in Superman Volume number 2, number 137. He fought against Batman and Superman 20, or Superman 20 and Batman 20. This is a future villain from the future. Created by Edward Hamilton and Kurt Swan. He started a series of intergalactic crimes. This is the same story where he worked with Joker 20, the descendant of Joker. I think it's also known as Rick Hodge. No, it's just Joker 20. He only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 166, which is the story that Muto plays. He appears in World's Finest Comics. He was created by James Shooter and Kurt Swan. He played Superman 20 and Batman 20. He was from the 30th century, so technically it will be 2900. He started a series of daring crimes and teamed up with Muto. Anyway, Brainiac 167. They appear in World's Finest Comics 167. And this Vildrox looks for against Batman for Superman of Earth 167 and Batman of Earth 667, which is the Earth where Batman and Superman were both brothers, or where Batman was raised in the cane in the Kent house. I completely forgot what Superman's parents were. Anyway, This brainiac tried to kidnap Lois Lane. He operated from Mobile, Alabama. He was created by Otto Binder and Al Pacino. The Toyman of Earth 167 was fought against Superman of Earth 167 and Batman of Earth 167. Only appearing in World's Finest Comics 167. This winter slot was created by Dante Count Ed Brucker, operated in Metropolis, and was a notorious criminal. I think of also the universe where Batman may have been in a Kryptonian. I don't really remember. Anyway, Amalgamax, or Zan, or by other known as Composite Superman number 2. Fought against Batman and Robin, the main timeline one. Not Batman and Robin, Superman and Batman. Played by Carrie Bates and Kurt Swan. First appeared in World's Finest Comics number 168. Last appeared in World's Finest Comics number 284. Joe Chill of Earth 172. Or Joseph Chilton. The only appearance was World's Finest Comics number 172. He was played by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. He was a common mugger. He murdered wealthy patrons of Gotham City, tossed them off Wayne. He was American. I don't remember which Earth this one is. This one may be another Batman one where he lives with Bruce Wayne or not. I completely forgot. I think this one's the one that he lived with Bruce Wayne. Alright. The Lex Luthor, or Axis Luthor of Earth 172. Only appeared in 172. He fought against Batman and Superman of Earth 172. Superman 172 and Batman 172. He was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. He was a notorious scientific criminal. He was started a crime spree. He prepared instruction for Superman and Batman to be led in a trap. He tried to kill Batman. I think this one. I remember which the last villain on the World's Finest Comics universe is, but I don't remember what her 172 is. There were too many in these Silver Age comics. There's also Penguin of Earth 172, or Oswald Cobblepot, no Chesterfield, only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 172. I think this is the one where Penguin and the Lex Luthor team up. Played by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, may not have been Bob Kane. Fought against Superman of Earth 172 and Batman of Earth 172. He was a criminal from Gotham City. He had trick umbrellas. I remember now. This was the one that had this random, only appearing criminal from the universe. This is Jet Belt Bandit. Technically, how I remember which universe this is. This is the one that had two random other heroes that never appeared again. Sunboy and Cosmic Man basically were trainees to, instead of Batman and Robin, Batman and Superman, and Wonder Woman. There's no Wonder Woman. It's now Cosmic Man and Sunboy. There, and they fought against this guy called the Jet Belt Bandit. He was a United Planet citizen. He only appeared in World's Finest Comics number 172, against Batman 172, Sunboy and Cosmic Man, created by Jim Shusher and Kurt Swan, and that was basically it. The Superman Revenge Squad first appearance was in Superman number 94. Last appearance was in Superman number 414. They were a confederation of criminals and tyrants from across the galaxy. They fought against the main timeline Superman and Batman. They were created by George Papp, and they were formed on Wexer 2. The Batman Revenge Squad, which only appeared in World's Finest Comics 175, fought against Batman, Robin, and Superman and Jimmy Olsen. They were formed by ex-convicts and captured at some point in the past by Batman. And their suits were Batman's logo, a Batman suit, but with a skull on the back. They started planning to bring down Batman and teamed up with the Superman Revenge Squad. They're aided by the Superman First Squad, and they had their own costume. This is the final guy on the list, I think. Let me check. Yes, it is. The Automator from Earth 184. Yeah, its only appearance being Autonomous Comics 184. He was created by Cary Bates and Curt Swan. David Gregor was famous for murdering the Batman of Earth 184. Oh, he also worked with a gang called the Bolton Boys. So, yeah, Earth 184, Batman dies before the actual Earth 2 Batman dies in the Bronze Age. Anyway, that was the last one on our trip. Next time it's Action Comics, which I will give you a brief, and I mean brief, like Rainmaker style brief. See you into the next guy. You saw what you did. Now, I must say thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Hope to see you again. And with my list of Golden and Silver Age Batman villains, which only goes from when the comic began in the 1930s or 40s or 50s or 60s, but we stopped around the 70s, to be exact, the year 1970. Expect when it's released, if once I've done started into the Marvel villains. If it says the issue is from 1970, I will only do it when it was released, not when it was said to be issued on. Issue says it is. It's a whole thing with Marvel. But DC has it much better done. Anyway, hey, hope to see you next time. Hope to see you again. This has been Malta Limited signing out. Good day, goodbye, goodbye.